Hello, racing fans, and welcome back to another edition of Handicappers Corner, brought to you by the Derby Bar and Grill. I'm Mike Head. So Drew Forster going to go through the Sunday afternoon races, September 25th at Hastings. We do have 8 races on tap, some good allowance races. Should be a good card.
Yes, absolutely. A couple babies too, and as Mike mentioned, 8 races on tap. First post 150, as it will be throughout the remainder of the meet. First race on tap is an allowance race for 2-year-olds, going 6.5 furlongs. Nancy Betts seemed to have a stranglehold in this race. I like the 3, Dazzling Dawn. Very impressive. He's ran 6 furlongs, which a bunch of these haven't. She has, I should say. Won by 9 last time over Mayfair Lady and Swire Cat. Looked very professional doing it for Paul Caravette. Another one named after our good friend Don Adams, who passed away last fall. I got Dazzling Dawn on top. Mrs. Fort finally broke through with a win last time. She's been knocking heads with some nice horses like Driller, Straight Remark. I think she gets some confidence off of that, moves forward. And I got another one of Nancy's in third. Morning Blurs out of the very good mare, Everything's a Blur. Broke her maiden, going 3.5. Only by a couple of lengths. I couldn't decide between Morning Blurs and Miss Sport for second, but I did put Miss Sport for second. I went 3, 1, and 2.
Yeah. I did go to Dazzling Dawn. That was an impressive run. Mayfair Lady did falter, and then I don't believe she came back to run very well in her next start. So it's kind of, how good was that race? What was the competition in that one? I put the 2-horse Morning Blurs, 2 fillies, 2 Nancy Betts fillies. Boy, she did good here getting this race to fill. She filled it with 3 of them, but Morning, she's going to be busy in the paddock, but Morning Blurs, pretty nice win at 39 and change. Pretty fast. Going 3.5 furlongs, defeating Mrs. Sport. Come back to work in a minute and change, and we'll see how she does going the 2 turns. The 4-horse, one of the few geldings in the race, Satellite Storm, I put in for second. Nice debut win, going 3.5. Went to Seattle. That's always tough in his next start, and obviously got hooked into a very good one, and that won off by 9 lengths. So Satellite Storm might be a little happier being in the friendlier confines of Hastings, and could definitely win the race. I went 3, 2, and 4, but a lot of talent in race number 1. But have a look at them in the paddock. I go 3, 2, 4 in the opener. On to race number 2, $16,000 fillies and mares here. Conditional fillies and mares, non-3 lifetime, going 6.5. Looks like the one Amber Moon's found a field she should be able to beat. She's been in some very tough spots in her last few, running against the boys. Sprinting and routing, and she hasn't been able to get into a spot like this for some time, which has been unfortunate, but certainly looks to have found a field she at least should be the one to beat. Put the 4-horse Riding on the Win in for second. Has had some time off, kind of abbreviated campaign, only 2 starts this year, but first one was good. Behind Fire Beauty. Second one, not so good, but that was against optional 25. She gets back in against conditional horses. It's a better spot for her. She does have a work since her last race, and Amadeo returns to the saddle. Put the 2-horse, the gray one of many 3-year-old fillies in here in for third. The gray one, undefeated.
Yep.
Untested, not well tested, but undefeated.
Looked very
so
good
you got to give her respect. I can put her in for third. I went 1, 4, and 2.
I agree. I think Amber Moon is the horse to beat here. You run against the boys most of the year.
Much tougher competition. Older mare.
Royal Briar, perfectly
reckless. Way
Power
better
Corrupt.
horses.
Only gets beat in neck by Power Corrupt, and she was kind of compromised down the lane there too. I like Amber Moon. On top of the gray one, as you mentioned, the filly's done nothing wrong. 2 nice wins so far. I put her in. She's going to be the one they have to catch, and I put Tactics in the 3rd spot. Broke her maiden.
Looked good in the mornings. I've seen her. She's looked good.
They tried her in the stakes. She's been Austin's last year, but she's been training forwardly, and Troy Taylor can have them ready. Full sister to Cedarburg, multiple stakes winner. So I put Tactics in the 3rd spot. I went 1, 2, and 5 in the 2nd. On to the 3rd, 3.5 maiden 4,000, going a mile 16th. I went to Fishing on the Fraser. Got beat by a pretty nice horse last time, I think, and you better believe it. He was a first-time starter, making the start at 4,000, and Fishing on the Fraser was unlucky to lose that day. So I got him on top of Feel No Shame. Look at that race 2 back, got beat by a very well-meant Otis Brown going long, came back sprinting, doesn't like to sprint, now gets going long again. Rob Maven's horse been running well lately. I got Feel No Shame in the 2nd spot, and I put Noonday Sun in the 3rd spot. Top Connections, Amadeo Perez and Barb Heads. A horse that's only ran 3 times and is trending the right way. I went 5, 4, and 7.
I have the same three. I put Noonday Sun on top. I mean, if you saw him in the paddock, or if you see him in the paddock, he's like 17 hands. He doesn't want to sprint. He's just running even races, sprinting. I think this mile and the 16th distance will do him big favors. So I got to try him to defeat Fishing on the Fraser, who had every shot to win, couldn't win last time. Had a lot of chances to win. So I just want to take someone more lightly raced, like Noonday Sun. Maybe Fishing on the Fraser will win, but I don't know. I'd rather have Noonday Sun. And I agree with Feel No Shame in for third. Throw the last race out. That was sprinting. Got caught up in a fast pace. His last few route races have been good. They're good little races for Feel No Shame. So I went 7, 5, and 4 in the third. On to the fourth race, $4,000 older geldings going 6.5 furlongs. I went at the 7-horse Lauren 500. Makes the big drop down to 4,000. Definitely think he's got a big chance in here. He wasn't disgraced at all behind Abil and Lassie's Reward. Much tougher horses. He's got to win the money. 6-horse Whaley's Command for me for second, and the 4 Persisting for third. Both have some, interesting qualities to them. They're off the pace horses, but Lauren 500 should get the jump on them. He's going to be tough. 7.64.
I couldn't decide. I put Lauren 500 as second. I went to Persisting for Taylor Anderson. I thought a very encouraging run. He hadn't run since March. Then he has his first race in September, and a good second behind an old class horse like Garda County. I see him moving forward in the second race, so I put him on top. But Lauren 500 is going to be your favorite and should win this race. And I put Wiley's Command in the third spot. Same horses, different order. 4, 7, and 6 for me in the fourth. On to the fifth, Fillies and Mares, $4,000 claim event. Non-winners of 3 lifetime, and I just see a ton of speed in here.
Yeah, there's a lot of pace.
It just seems like a lot of plays.
Baja
Fun before the
Storm,
storm. Baja Storm, Cadeo, Texas Alley Cat, Valid Vow. So I wanted closers. I went with Storm Cruiser, fresh off a non-2 event where she looked very good. Touch of Green came to her at the head of the lane, and she drew off 1 by 3. I have her on top of Touch of Green, who won her non-2 next out. And since she's got down to the 4,000 level, she's very tough for the win. 2 wins and a second. So I got her in the second spot. Amadeo Perez suits her well. And I put Valid Val in the third spot. She's in the 10 hole. But of the speed horses, I think she's in the best form right now for Mark Luce. I went 2, 8, and 10.
Yeah, I like the 6 Cadeo. I thought that race behind Biscuit was really good. She had to take on all comers on the head end, went fast, still was fighting on at the end. I thought Dennis rode a good race, and I don't know. I think she's going to have to fight again. I think she might be the last. I'm not in love with any deep closers that have been routing. They're going to be way back, and I just think Cadeo, we'll see how the track's playing, too. That's another key point to see how the track is playing. If the closers have a shot, which a lot of times they don't, might be worth paying attention to see if the track's playing for speed. And even if they fly early, Cadeo's going to be tough. Put the 8-horse Touch of Green and the 4 Eau Claire de Lune. I'm not a big fan of Eau Claire de Lune, but the horse in for third. A pretty good effort behind a speed horse last time. So I went 6, 8, and 4, but I can see Storm Cruiser. I mean, if the pace scenario was right, I'm certain this horse could be tough. But I like Cadeo. I like taking the older horses. 6, 8, and 4 for me in race number 5. On to the 6th race, $4,000 non-winners at 2 Fillies and Mares going 6.5. I'm going to try the 1 horse on the class. The 1 and 2 are both dropping.
Yeah.
Whereas Good as Gold's going to be long odds. The Ways as Well is going to be very, very, very short odds. And I just think I think there's going to be enough speed, perhaps, to maybe make things difficult on Oasis Wells with Rocket Star in the race. Get Aboard, Zygo. There's Consentida. There's a ton of early speed in here. I just think we're as good as Gold. If this horse is ever going to win, it's going to be today. If she doesn't win today, then forget it. Don't follow her back. But we're as good as Gold. It's going to be, I think, pretty tough. This is her day, I think. Oasis Wells for me for second, and Queen of Barnai, another off the pace horse, in for third. 1, 2, 9.
I went to Oasis Wells. I think she's just off the pace. She's taking the big plunge,
definitely
as
the
you
best
mentioned.
horse.
I got Oasis Wells on top. I put PG Star in the second spot. Thought a very good race in her first start for Jon Snow last time. Got beat by Valid Vow, who got away on the lead and couldn't catch her, but she was well clear of the third horse, Queen of Barnai. So I got PG Star in the second spot. I put Get Aboard in the third spot. Mark's horse to run right now. And of the speed horses, I like Get Aboard. I just think she'll get a lot out of that. She got beat ahead by Sweet Home, comes back with a very good effort. She's improving. And of the speed horses, she's the one I landed on. I went 2, 7, and 4 in the 6th. On to the 7th. 16,000, wide open for 3 and up. Colts and Geldings going 6.5 furlongs. Good race here. I went to the 1 Rebus. I was really encouraged. He ran against Burnham last time. If Burnham was in here, he would be a heavy favorite. And he gave him everything he had. Only got beat in neck. I was really encouraged. I thought that was a rock star effort by Rebus. So I go back to him. I put him on top of After the Conflict, who was only a couple lengths behind Rebus last time. Solid old horse, and he switches from the bug boy Jose Asensio to lead rider Richard Hamill. I like that move. I got After the Conflict in the second spot. I put the odds are good. First time he's been in this cheap in his life, and he's got some talent. He's quick. He could take him a long way. I went 1, 6, and 5.
Yeah, I see a pile of speed in here. I just see some collisions on the head end. You got CC and Water that's very fast out of the Jim Penny barn. You'll notice there's been half a dozen Jim Penny horses shipping up here, and they're here for the remainder of the meet, which is great. Hopefully they do well and continue to bring horses up. But I just see a lot of speed. The odds are good. It's going to go After the Conflict. With Hamill's going to go. There's going to be no rating. 23-1 the opening quarter last time for Rebus and After the Conflict. That's not happening. And Sir Barkley's in here as well. I just see a pretty solid pace. Al Capone's got to get a trip. He was a good third, 2 starts back to clear the runway and burn him. And there was no pace on. Well, there was pace on, but you know those are tougher horses. This is going to be a different pace scenario. I just think Al Capone's got a big chance. I'm going to try him to win it. The odds are good on the class drop for second, and Sir Barkley, who must be respected. He's a cool sprinter. 357 for me in the 7th. One of the 8th and final $4,000 horses going a mile in the 16th. Boy, certainly looks like a layover for Occupy Vancouver. He's found a very good, very soft field here. No speed in the race. He's going to be a heavy, heavy favorite. Might be your key in the late pick 4s, pick 6s, whatever your play, pick 3s, late doubles. But Occupy Vancouver, Richard Hamill, first run for Jim Brown off the claim. Going to be pretty dangerous. Put the 2-horse We Harry in for second, another Jim Brown runner. Claim for 62, ran it for 8, no impression, down for 4. He doesn't have a lot of speed, but still, he looks like the second best horse in the race. And I put the 4-horse One Big Promise in for third. Another one that's got to show a little speed. Ran in the Marathon Series last time, no good. Non-2-4s aren't going. Non-3-4s long aren't going, so he's in against the non-4s. Not where you want to be with One Big Promise, but he's still not a bad little colt anyway. But I put him in for third, 7-2-4.
I agree. 7 looks very tough in here. I went to Occupy Vancouver on top. I put Promise Glory in the second spot. He's been running against, Bluegrass Pride, Tapissaris. We're running those endurance races, and I see him closing well, and he likes to go long. I'm going to give him a shot for Hammer Racing Stable, David Lopez. Got him in for second. I put At the Ritz in for third, looking for him to regain his old form. Another one coming out of those tough endurance races. I went 7, 5, and 1. In the nightcap, that'll do it for our analysis of the Sunday program. Up next on screen will be our picks. Mike, as always, you're up first.
Back in race number 1. Went to the 3-horse Dazzling Dawn. Nancy Betts show here, 3, 2, and 4 in the first. Race number 2, went to the 1 Amber Moon, 1, 4, and 2. Race number 3, went to the 7 Noonday Sun on the stretch out, 7, 5, and 4. Race number 4, the classy veteran number 7 Lord 500. Hopefully it's his day, 7, 6, and 4. Actually, I hope it's the 4 Persisting Stay for the Sorensen family. Race number 5, went to the 6 Cadeo over the 8 and 4. This race number 6, I went to the 1 We're Good as Gold over the 2 and 9. And race number 7, I went to the 3 El Capone, 3, 5, and 7. And race number 8, number 7 on the class, off the claim, found a pretty good field here. I'm going to go 7, 2, and 4.
On to my picks. There we go. Back in the first, I went to the 3 Dazzling Dawn over the 1 and the 2. In the second, number 1 Amber Moon over the 2 and the 5. I agree with Mike on the early double. In the third, I went to the 5 Fishing on the Fraser over the 4 and the 7. In the fourth, I went to the 4 Persisting over the 7 and the 6. In the fifth, I went to the 2 Storm Cruiser over the 8 and the 10. In the sixth, I went to the 2 Oasis Wells over the 7 and the 4. In the seventh, the feature, I went to the 1 Rebus over the 6 and the 5. And in the nightcap, I agree with Mike, number 7 Occupy Vancouver over the 5 and the 1.
Well, thanks again for tuning in to Handicappers Corner. If you can't make it out to the track on Saturday or Sunday, don't forget, you always got the Derby Bar and Grill here on 176th and First Avenue. Come on out near the, obviously the border crossing. Come on out. Lots of simulcasting going on. Lots of food specials, drink specials. Always a great atmosphere.
And we do allow kids now too. You can bring your kids.
You can bring the family. Come on out to the Derby Bar and Grill for a great afternoon of thoroughbred horse racing action and a lot of good food and drink specials. Well, our next live cards will be next Saturday and Sunday, and we're heading into the Only 3 more weekends.
3 more weekends
after this
yeah.
weekend. I know we do have the Saturday, Sunday next weekend. Of course, races are at 150. Big weekend next weekend, actually. We do have the premiers, the ballerina, the 2 sales stakes, all on October the 1st. So October the 1st is the big day. 2 CTHS sales stakes for 3-year-olds, colts and geldings, and the fillies. And, of course, the ballerina championship race for the older mares going 1 mile and 1/8, and the Pre-C Premier is the champion race going 1 mile and 3/8 for the older geldings. That'll be a lot of fun. Big day on October the 1st. That's our next live cards. Once again, thanks for tuning in. On behalf of Drew, we'll see you next time here on Handicappers Corner. Come on out to the Derby Bar and Grill. We'll see you next time.